So, good evening and good afternoon all over the world. Today, it's a very special broadcast. And so we are trying several things here. If we get challenged by the technology, please, you're going to bear with us. And so today we have Queen Phumi, who is hosting us on Matomola TV. And so I'm going to be outnumbered very soon because I'm the only NDC and the two of you are fully paid up members of the UPND. So I already feel like there is an unfair advantage here.
That's a sign that we are winning. We are forming government.
Good evening, Mushya. Good evening, my colleague in California, I think. Greetings from Scotland. And I just hope you guys are surviving from the heat. I hear it's too hot in America and Canada. Are you surviving? Are you drinking enough water?
Oh my God, it's crazy over here. You know, there's a heat wave. We are just running our ACs. And yeah, so I'm just actually very honored and humbled to be with you, gallant men of Zambia. And we are connecting all the four corners of the continent today. We have Scotland, we have West Coast, California, USA, we have Canada in the north, and we have Zambia. So we have a full representation of the globe. And we thank God for social media.
So now, Queen Phumi, just to confirm something, is the broadcast being broadcast onto the Matomola TV as well?
We are going to share it as soon as we are ready with Matomola.
All right.
So okay. We are going to tell me when we are ready. I don't know what's happening. We are going to share it in a few minutes. Just give me a minute here. Let me check.
All right. So we are already live on TV Bakwetu. And so we just want to make sure that Matomola TV is not shortchanged because we can do all the damage on our own. So
I know we are dealing with a giant here. You guys are veterans. We are just, you know, we are amateurs. So we are learning from you. You are a giant of this. You know, you are the professional. So we are following your footsteps.
No, it's a pleasure.
So we'll follow your lead.
It's a pleasure to be hosted by you guys, or you know, to share experiences. But right. It's been a funny day. Mushya, have you realized that we are trending on Zambian Watchdog today?
Okay, so I did see that, and I did not see it coming. I saw that it's when you went all out of control, General, and then you began calling that gentleman a buffoon, and I was like, General, please don't call him a buffoon. But you said sorry, and then went on to call him a buffoon. Who is that gentleman, General? I don't know him.
Well, the gentleman is the president of the Economic Association of Zambia. He's a Lubinda Havazoka. He calls himself a doctor. And I still don't want to address him as a doctor. He's not a doctor because doctors, anybody who's got a title of a doctor should be somebody who should use sense, common sense, especially an economist. I respect anybody who's got a PhD in economics because they should think, but he doesn't. He is ill-advising the government and ill-advising the misleading a lot of people. And right. Now I hear he's holding on to power as president for ECZ by force. He doesn't want to have an AGM. Which is sad. Yeah, which is sad. They should go to AGM. Members of the ECZ, the Economic Association of Zambia, take your president to AGM and kick him out because he's not the right person to be your president at all.
Yeah, he's truly embarrassed the noble profession of economists because I'm economist amano nomba bariabatata amano tabakwata. You know, and it's very terrible. Now, as we are doing this, and I think Queen Phumi is going to take over. Before she takes over from us, we need to perhaps deal with the COVID donations and everything. General, please, do you have any update for us?
Yes, Mushya, last night, after we announced the launch of the COVID support to Zambia, Diaspora Global Fund for COVID Zambia, yesterday were 25 people online. I chaired the meeting myself, and were doctors, Dr. David Kajila in Canada, and a team of other doctors, and with Zambians from all over the UK and South Africa, joining hands that we have agreed officially that we are going to go full out to fundraise for COVID. The situation which we are getting, Mushya, is really scary. People are dying in Zambia. We were told yesterday and this morning that Zambians are dying because there's no oxygen at UTH and there's no oxygen at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital. The oxygen plant at UTH is not operating because they failed to repair it. And I can announce tonight that there are a team of engineers, Zambians, who are trying to work out a way of repairing that plant. And there's also a team of engineers who are going to help work on the Levi Mwanawasa. These are volunteers, Levi Mwanawasa plant, because it's tripping, because it's being overloaded. The other thing is that there is a critical shortage of cylinders, oxygen cylinders. And so we are fundraising, Mushya, and our viewers to try and get cylinders to get into Lusaka as soon as possible. I've just been informed this evening that some volunteers in Zambia, the Asian communities in Zambia, are organizing a sort of a container. I think it's a truckload of cylinders getting into Lusaka, because South Africa has no cylinders. Botswana looks like no cylinders. The only way they could find cylinders was in Tanzania. So there are about 2,000 cylinders being moved right away to Zambia to try and help the Zambian government.
Okay, that's wonderful. And so for those that are looking to support, the website, I'm going to share the website in the comment section. Please go there and then hit the donate button. That organization, the Zambian organization, it's known as the Global Alliance of Zambian Healthcare Professionals. That is the organization we've picked as a television for us to coordinate with. We don't want to handle it on our own because we don't have logistical sophistication to handle this. So we believe that the Global Alliance of Zambian Healthcare Professionals is going to handle this far much better than we can. Mr. Matomola Likwanya, welcome.
Good evening, comrades. Good evening, General Chipaku. It is a pleasure to be here on this powerful platform.
Good evening, Matomola. How's Lusaka?
No, we are pushing. Lusaka is okay, but of course, there are many challenges from the health, aspect that you are just addressing are quite affecting us politically, socially, and even just generally. We are living in fear because of this deadly pandemic that has now hit compounds. As you know, that Lusaka are shanty compounds, and some of those shanty compounds, one of those is the 5th West Slum in sub-Saharan Africa, which is Mrs. Compound, sitting on a population of over 100,000 people, and it is just 100 meters away from the CBD, the Central Business District, 100 meters away from the tourist building in Lusaka City, and the cases of COVID-19 are being experienced in shanty compounds. Now, for those of us that do not know, a slum normally has challenges to do with water, sanitation. Houses are not properly, having proper hygiene. There is a challenge of illiteracy. 85% of the women and children and youths are not properly educated. So if this deadly pandemic is hitting such, stunted communities with poverty ranging to about 85%, we as people, as activists, we tend to wonder, because the people do not have a technical know-how on how to combat this disease. As we talk right now, in these communities, we have about 25 cases that have been reported, and out of those 5 deaths have been reported. Of course, these are the common people that the media cannot profile to say they have caught COVID and they have died. But the situation is really tense here.
I think, Matomola, we would like to advise our people that let's take masking seriously. Let's take social distancing seriously. And I know that it's difficult to say avoid markets, because this infection at 24% today is too high, and it's very, very dangerous. I think you as community leaders, let's encourage our people and tell them that this COVID is real. So the only way to try and reduce more deaths is to stop more infections. And you can only do that by encouraging our people, even using their own masks. They can prepare their own masks using chitenges. Do not go to a market without a mask. Wash your hands. Avoid crowded places. Avoid crowded minibuses. Otherwise, we will not have a country, guys. I think it's a very important message, Matomola, which you people on the ground should tell our people. This COVID is real.
Yes, and the challenge which we have from the observations that we have gathered on the ground is that the people that are exposed in the citizens to the risk of COVID-19, the number one culprit in this is the state, because of their lack of resolve, their lack of seriousness, and their hypocrisy in terms of combating this pandemic. On the other hand, they are seen to be putting up adverts and conscientizing people to mask up, but on the other side, they are busy, making groupings, political gatherings. As we speak right now, there are meetings every day that take place in Chawama, that take place in Mandevu, political meetings that are held by the ruling party, the government of the day, whose candidate is the head of state. And the challenge which is there is, a lot of people might think that the issue of face mask is a simple issue because probably others have got money and they are well to do. But in these communities that we live, even just the issue of face masks is something that borders on the economic performance, where people cannot afford face masks. A face mask here by Zambian standard is 5 kwacha, and that 5 kwacha for a family that lives on less than $1 per day, they would rather buy a sachet of mini-meal, which in Zambian language is called pamela, rather than buying a face mask.
Pamela.
Yes, there's the poverty levels are so high that cooking oil is being put in plastic bags. Okay, it's being put in small plastics, and they buy that at 1 kwacha, 2 kwacha. So they would rather buy a cooking oil than buy a face mask, and that is the mentality that people have. We hear them say in the communities that Chawama, we don't want to die of anger. Okay, we would rather die of coronavirus than to die of what? Of starvation. So that is what is happening in our society. So the government of the day must make it a mandatory point to do with face masks, but they must make sure that they also provide these face masks. And I think what you have said is a very good thing, where different organizations and citizens begin to help impoverished citizens in communities, especially Lusaka, Copper Belt, all the shanty compounds. We are going to combat this if we move in that direction.
Okay, thank you. Now, Queen Phumi, I'm going to let you take over. Please, you are the moderator for the next. Please take over, Queen Phumi.
Thank you.
And your full name is Phumulo Situmbeko, right?
Phumulo Nangoma Situmbeko Simoroka.
Wow, those are long names.
And then I'm also Banamusonda.
Wow, those are good names. All of them.
One Zambia, one nation.
Beautiful names. Go ahead, Puma.
Yes, so I just, on a serious note, I want to comment on COVID. And the thing that we are overlooking as a country is contact tracing. So we have hypocrisy. I think it's just been some rumors going on that we've had some high profile government officials infected with COVID and they did not disclose this. So this is putting everyone at risk, because here in the United States, that was key. If you have COVID, we have to trace where you are when you contracted that disease. And what that does, it helps people to go and get tested and self-isolate. So it's very, very important that I don't know how we as a Zambian government, we as a Zambian people can ensure that we do contact tracing. Because even if people wear masks, but we overlook this contact tracing, people are going home, reinfecting parents and family members who have got underlying conditions, and hence we are seeing the high mortality rate. So I think that is very, very important, and we must pay attention to that. So to begin the ball rolling, guys, it's been wonderful. We are blessed to have two big TV personalities. My consul Elias, he's my role model. I got my cue from him to start broadcasting. I'm like, if all of us can speak one language, we can make change. There's power in voices. There's power in numbers. So for me, Elias is a role model. Paku, you jumped on. I was like, wow, this is what we need. Everybody needs, we need to just join in. Like, there's no comment, there's no stupid comment, there's no stupid, observation. Everything is important. Hey, well said, we have different minds, different personalities, but when we work together, things happen. So you guys, Bakwetu TV, I'm your big fan. So, and we asked you at short notice to come and join forces with Matomola TV, which you accepted. So we are greatly humbled and honored. Guys, Zambians, we are one. We are here to change Zambia. We are here to remove these thieves and dictators. Let's work together. We cannot work in isolation. If we work in isolation, we are going to fail. So we have stepped up to the plate to join forces. This is just the beginning. We will do more because our pages are both huge. So when we bring our pages together, we unite all our followers and we share our messages and information, and we can win. Winning an election is about numbers. It's not about isolation. So we have to huddle up. Now, that being said, our topic today is briefly, Mr. Bakonsel, can you tell us who you are? And Paku, you will be second. I'm asking you guys to tell us who you are because our followers don't know you. So since we are joining forces and we'll be working together from now on, our followers want to know who you are. So that is the first thing that I'm asking from you guys.
Right. My name is Elias Mushya. And in court over here, you have to state you have to spell out your full last name because they don't know. So Munshya, Mushya. I am a preacher. That's my primary vocation, so to speak. And then when I came to Canada to study, I completed my studies, and then I became a lawyer right here. And because I was very much interested in politics, I started, even if I'm not a member of the UPND, I'm a member of the NDC. But anyway, I got interested in what the UPND were saying, and we've since endorsed Mr. Hakainde Hichilema for the upcoming elections. And I think he makes a lot of sense. So because he makes a lot of sense. Even if here I'm outnumbered because I'm the only lone NDC member here, and the three of you are operatives of the UPND. But anyway, I can't. I'm okay with that. And so that is who I am. I became a lawyer. I practice out of my chambers here, which has suddenly transformed into a studio. And so immediately after this broadcast, it will go back to becoming chambers again. So that is one of the things I do.
Thank you very much. Wow. But General?
My name is Norman Chipakupaku, commonly known as General, because I served in the army for 15 and a half years during the Kaunda time. He's my commander-in-chief. He was my first and last commander-in-chief. I retired from the army before we were kicked out in 1991. Currently, I'm a marketing specialist. I'm a cooperative specialist. I think the only African cooperative specialist in the UK. But I'm also on the board of a number of institutions, and I've served on the board of Harriet-Watt University. I was the first president of Harriet-Watt University, a global alumni, the first African president, which was so great to be honored to serve on that position for 7 years. I'm a former member of Central Committee in UNIP. I was elected to UNIP Central Committee in 1995, and I was chairman of Agriculture and Cooperatives. Before that, I was general manager of AgriCorp in the Eastern Province, and I also chief executive of Eastern Province and founder member of the Eastern Province Chamber of Commerce. And as I told you, I served in the army for 15 years. And during that time, that's when I knew Dr. Kaunda very, very well, became very, very close. And I was privileged to host Dr. Kaunda in Scotland for a month. And that was one time when I learned a lot about Dr. Kaunda. So I'm a member of UPND. I joined UPND about 5 years ago. I told myself that I would never join politics because I left Zambia because of Zambian politics. Those of you who remember when Iwezi died and Penza died, some of us were threatened, and I decided to leave. But now I decided to join UPND 5 years ago because I think Zambia deserves better. And I've never hidden that HH is a better. He will make a better president. And if he makes a mistake, we will be advising him and we'll correct him. And I've said it publicly. If he makes a mistake, I will be the first one to advise you and say, no, Mr. President, because our people deserve better. So that's Norman Chipakupaku. I'm a family man, family in Zambia, family in Scotland, too many children, too many grandchildren, and a huge family. That's what I can tell you. I'm a Christian as well. I have served on the board of the Church of Scotland for many years. So I'm a Christian.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Very, very impressive. Yeah, it's good to see people who worked with Kaunda stand up and fight for change, I know these have been it's one of the most difficult campaigns in Zambia because we see a lot of intimidation. So people are scared to come out and speak. So I'm so proud of you because you are one of the few people who really have stood up against all odds to come and help the youth fight for a better Zambia. So thank you. And then the next topic I wanted us to discuss is ECZ. So ECZ, this election is looking like this is my opinion. So to me, when I see how ECZ has been operating, it's like ECZ is a department of PF, and we are poised to have this election rigged internally by ECZ. We have seen by Esa Ochulu and Patrick Ishindano make decisions without, consulting stakeholders. They have made decisions against the opposition in favor of the PF. So we'll start with you, Mushya. What is your comment? For me, I'm very worried about this ECZ behavior.
I think your worries are legitimate, and there is a strength in holding ECZ accountable with what they are doing at the moment. The only danger I wouldn't want us to fall into is the danger where we become complacent, and once we become complacent, we send this mixed message that we are not going to get a fair election from ECZ. I think the best thing to do is, as other people are fighting to ensure that ECZ is very fair, we need to encourage as many people as possible to turn out in numbers and elect Mr. Hakainde Hichilema for the presidency. And so it is complicated, right? Because on the other hand, you want to encourage the people to put faith in ECZ to deliver a legitimate result. But at the same time, you are also quite concerned about some of the things that ECZ is doing that are questionable. I do believe that on August 12, no matter what, Zambia is going to have a fair election, and Zambians are going to elect Mr. Hichilema as president. And if anyone tries any monkey tricks, again, this is just an expression. Please, it's just an expression. Monkey tricks. If anyone tries monkey tricks, I believe that the Constitutional Court of Zambia is going to reverse an election that is not free and fair. So that's the faith that I have. So for now, every Zambian, in Mwinilunga, particularly in Mwinilunga, please go to the vote and vote. In Nakonde, go and vote. In Mpulungu, go and vote. In Nangoma, go and vote. Sioma, Liua, go and vote. Nakumilenge, Kumwesu. Nakokuine, you go and vote. I think that is what will make a difference, in my opinion.
Thank you so much. But Paku, what is your take? My question to you is addressing voter apathy and our leaders at ECZ in particular. Because for me, I'm like, how can two people sit there and make decisions on behalf of 17 million? I have a problem with this. Like, every day I post this question to say, how can two people make decisions for 17 million? You know? So what is your take?
ECZ is supposed to be an independent institution. The only problem we have is that the president, according to the current constitution, Mushya, you are the lawyer, correct me if I'm wrong. The president has the powers to appoint the commission. And ECZ is supposed to be like a referee. If the president is appointing the commission and the same president becomes a player, it becomes difficult for people to really trust that this referee is going to be fair. And the action of the ECZ in the last few months, in fact, in the last one year, has been very, 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 very worrying. They cancelled the register. As far as I'm concerned, it was very unconstitutional because the law says there must be continuous registration of voters. They decided that they were going to get rid of an old register and register another 9 million within, was it 60 days, Mushya? And we said, no, it's not going to happen. The reason why they said they wanted to get rid of the old register was that they suspected that there were 1.4 million ghost voters. And personally, I said, I challenged him on a meeting to Chindano, and I said, if you have identified the ghost voters, why can't you get rid of these ghost voters and then add new voters? They insisted, they didn't want to listen, and then they opened a new register. Look at the way they registered people. First of all, the registration cards. There were issues in the north where voter registration cards were being given to kids. Nobody's challenged that. There were issues of people being given voters cards. There were issues with Southern Province, Western Province, Central Province, and other provinces where they were told that, there's no equipment. But ECZ never said anything. Even on the registration itself, the time where Zambians were given the chance, they were queued the first 1 week, it was not fair. So what I'm saying here, the only answer for Zambians is for Zambians, like what Mushya said, to go full out let's not give ECZ a chance to play monkey tricks on the 12th. The best thing we can do, Zambians, if we really want a future, a proper Zambia, our democracy to continue, let's go all out and vote. Then ECZ won't play monkey tricks. But after the 12th, my recommendation to the president is that there must be a way of getting the ECZ to be independent. Because the current chairperson, personally, the current chairperson of ECZ, Judge Issa Churu, should have resigned in 2016 when he messed up the election of 2016. So that is my answer. The answer is to you, Zambians. Go and vote on the 12th. That's why I think in the UPND, we've come up with the slogan, going to win big. That's what we want to do. And telling the young people and women, go and vote big, because we want to vote big. If we want to win big and we vote big, ECU and all their tricks which we have, which we hear they're trying to do, those tricks won't work. And for your own information, all the tricks which ECZ is trying to do, we know them. Except that we can't discuss some of them here. We know the plans they have.
Landeni, eh?
No, I'm not going to say this, because some of the things, if I say them, it will shake the whole country. We know what ECZ is trying to do. When it comes to the transmission of the result, we know. So please don't try those tricks, because we know and we are watching.
Chachi never general chimonendo shinga ina ipinga tiara isa mkukuloa ero waeba chininji shibayala pona panshira so apa kuvotera apa kulira. Now Matomola, honorable, we have seen an unfolding situation in Swaziland, and I was listening to Malema talking about democracy and how the king was appointing just people who were on his good side to run government ministries and departments. Then I think the king is a president, is a personal friend of our current president, and I think some tendencies we are seeing in our government, they are kind of inclining where to PF wants to turn Zambia into a kingdom. So I want you to comment on that. And then the second thing I want you to comment is that we have heard rumors that there are 2 registered voters, and as opposition, we have not been given access to see the current registered voters, where I heard something like they have even added the polling station, prisons as polling stations. So since you are on the ground, you can start, and then I'll just leave it for open discussion if you want to comment.
Yes, so before I comment on that one, I want to comment on what Comrade Mushya said, where he touched on the issue of ECZ and the number of things, and what General Chipakupaku brought in. And the first thing that I want to say is that we must all come to terms and agree and accept as Zambian people that the current Electoral Commission of Zambia that we have is not aimed at ensuring that there is free and fair elections. We must all agree and come to terms and accept that the current Electoral Commission of Zambia that we have is not there to make sure that they hear the citizens' submissions, various political stakeholders as they speak. In other words, we want to accept and to all agree here as citizens that the current ECZ that we have is working against the aspirations of the Zambian people, okay, from their dealings, okay. And we must also accept and agree that the current state that we have has put forward the laws that are not meant or favoring the citizens, in a way that Mr. Mushya, General Chipakupaku, Queen Phumi, you have seen that pieces of registrations have been enacted without the consultation of the wider majority of the Zambian people, okay? The Electoral Process Act, various bills, Prisons Act, a number of bills have been passed without consulting the Zambian people, and a lot of Zambians express ignorance about what is happening, and that is why we question what ECZ will do in terms of fostering free and fair elections. And that is the reason why, that is my own opinion, I tend to think that ECZ will not secure free and fair elections. It is the Zambian people that are going to secure free and fair elections by commanding, forcing ECZ to do the right thing. Because for the past 3 elections that we've had, we've seen confusion. 2008, Michael Sata complained about the ECZ. In 2011, because it was a wind of change, there was slight decrease in complaints. 2015, 2016, it has always been the same. So commenting on the part of ECZ, ECZ is a danger in the electoral process of our country. Because every time Mr. Elias Mushya, Council Elias Mushya, he has to come online to educate the Zambian people about crosses. Why is it that the Zambian people are finding difficulties interpreting the law?
The problem, no, I'll tell you the problem. The problem is very simple. The problem is that they write the law without proper full stops, commas, and punctuation. Now, this is terrible, and it's an embarrassment on our country. That's why I think Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is committing himself to ensuring that the law is easily understood by the common person in Chiwempala. I like commenting on one law. I know that it's your time to comment, comrade, but again in Dande. Because you see, what we need is immediately after the new president is sworn in, once elected by the people of Zambia, each law that is drafted by the Ministry of Justice must be in common, accessible language. There will be no compromise there. If our bureaucrats in the Ministry of Justice cannot draft common sense legislation, then they better resign and go and do something else. The new government that is coming must commit itself. What is so complicated about you know? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that's what it is. So every time we are meant to interpret pieces of articles, it is only now that the Zambian people now are realizing that if a candidate pulls out of a president of an election, then there's this thing that happens. Then you start asking yourself, what is the difference between pulling out and resigning? You start questioning yourself.
No, comrade, I think I need to get you there. What is the difference between pulling out and withdrawing?
Withdrawing, yes.
And dying.
Or resigning.
You see? Well, these things were supposed to
No. We need to take this slowly.
Yes.
Pulling at pulling out.
Yes.
Pulling out.
Yes.
Withdrawing. And resigning.
Yes. Or dying. There are 4 issues here. Dying, pulling out, resigning.
The family planning. Family planning. Anyway, continue.
So you see, General Chipapa, these are constitutional lacunas that the ECZ themselves have pressed the citizens, and this is where now the problem is. You find that instead of moving forward, ECZ is using certain laws on the citizens, and the citizens, they do not understand those laws. So what we are saying is that ECZ has not done its proper job, starting from the way and the manner in which officers are appointed to serve as leaders on those positions. People must have a constitutional know-how on how things are supposed to be. So ECZ plunged the country in chaos, because eventually Mukasangati, on the actual day of voting, maybe 1 week before we vote, they will just say, there's this law that is there that is supporting this man to do A, B.
Matomola, let me come in right there. So ECZ is pulling fast ones on us. They are pulling fast ones on us There are hidden clauses in it. What I can say is, Tulaguma Olympics, it's a race. People plan years for that race. They've been rehearsing. Hello, Muntu. Diarrhea. I'm pulling out the race. The race should be cancelled. No, the race should continue. Whoever pulls out or withdraws, whatever they do, fear with you.
Phumi, at the rate we are going, I can see a presidential candidate pulling out a day before election.
One candidate on the ballot that is going to win. Who let you withdraw?
What I'm saying, Phumi, is that Matomola was right. PF has sponsored a lot of presidential candidates. Out of the 19 candidates, I can tell you probably half of them are PF. So PF, what can stop one of these presidential candidates pulling out on the 10th of August? And I wonder what would happen with elections. Are we going to cancel the elections and say, no, refile again? I really don't understand it. So you're bringing a point which is very, very, very critical here. Because any of these presidential candidates can die on the 10th or on the 11th. What is the question to ECZ? What is going to happen then if such a thing happens? God forbid one of them dies on the 10th.
So Council Elias Mushya, on this point, bring us to speed. There's a constitutional lacuna here. What is happening?
Well, I think if somebody dies between now and August, okay, if it happens within the month, I think the election is likely to be moved. On death, I'm very sure about death. On withdrawing or pulling out or resigning, I'm not very confident. I think if this matter went to the Constitutional Court would much rather keep the election going than allowing it to be suspended. On death, I'm very sure. I think they will cancel the election.
But Mushya, is that not a contradiction in the Constitution? Because the Constitution says elections will be held on the second, third Thursday of August. So how would they then cancel elections or postpone elections? Because the Constitution has a date. The date is very, very clear. August. So I am saying to myself, I can see us going into a very serious problem. If one of these candidates dies 2 days before, we are likely to have a serious constitutional problem.
Yes.
Because it simply means they will postpone elections for another 30 days. What happens? We'll have no government for another 30 days. Mr. Lulu will continue being president, and this confusion. There will be no budget for next year. I don't understand it. It's going to be chaos because our budget is supposed to be in September.
Yes, so, and what?
No. I think there is. That's the chance, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a likelihood if you are working out. I think it's for soldiers to figure out the scenarios and lawyers. But
that's the way I think. That's why I think.
I think let's just reduce it to think if somebody dies, I think it's likely to be moved. That is if it happens within the 30 days, right? Like after July 12, if somebody dies, I think they can move it. If somebody dies, so omuntu ulefu okufua afuire dimo. We don't.
That's right. That's right.
But Madam Phumi, what it is ECZ gave a position a few days ago, and for them, they were very clear where they said that the Constitution is clear. If a candidate pulls out at any level, parliamentary, a ward, even at the presidential level, if a candidate pulls out, withdraws his candidature from after filing their nomination successfully, it means that the Constitution mandates them, to conduct fresh nominations. And where there's a really problem there is because it also requires the candidates to pay fresh amounts of nomination fees, which is also a constitutional crisis because as we speak right now, Council Elias, there is a 30-day period that has been allocated in Mandevu for Mandevu constituency and Munari constituency as the ECZ came out clearly that they are going to conduct fresh nominations. Now, when you look at the timing, ECZ is saying they are going to conduct these nominations in 30 days, but they have not even started the process yet. We are running out of time. They have also inconvenienced the candidates to pay fresh nominations. That would also be the same on the presidential candidature because ECZ, what they said is not law. The public relations officer came out in the open to update the nation by saying, no, if a candidate withdraws few days before the elections at the presidential level, will not allow them. That was our statement. But that is not law. People will challenge it because people, when they are debating matters of law and constitution, they want to quote from what is written. Because that was a pronouncement by ECZ to say we will not allow. But there will be people who will petition to say what you said is not law. We are following what is written in the law. And why is it that at this point now we have got a constitution that contradicts itself? On the other side, it sets the date, printed, written in the constitution to say date of election is 12 August. On the other side, on another article, it comes in and says if a presidential candidate withdraws his candidature, then they will conduct fresh nominations. Where are we going to seek guidance? And that's where ECZ is failing to guide the nation. Because we will have a lot of petitions and eventually elections will be suspended. So this is a fear of us as political stakeholders. When we look at the manner in which ECZ is moving, few days ago, few months ago, they called for meetings where they were not consulting the people, but they were just press briefings of making announcements. ECZ from the time they started, they were just making announcements. So that is the problem.
My biggest fear, Phumi, is if they pull out 7 constituencies or 4 constituencies pull out, then it means they won't vote on the 12th of August. What happens when they announce the presidential and the elections? Can they declare the president without these 4 other votes or other constituencies being voted?
Yes, because the presidential election is a separate election.
No, but Mushya, if the presidential election is separate from the MPs, that's fine, which means they can declare the president and then declare the other seats. I don't understand it. Yes, the president,
so let's take
Mandevu.
Let's take Mandevu. So far, what they are trying to do is to make Mandevu and Mpulungu's nominations synchronize with the election date, which is 12 August. So I think the nominations are likely to take place on July 12.
Okay.
Right? So that problem is resolved. I think they've used common sense there, so that it's held within 30 days. So that problem is resolved, I think. On the question of whether the presidential election, so let's assume that Mandevu's MP elections did not take place. The presidential and councillor elections would still take place in Mandevu. So the people of Mandevu would still go ahead to vote.
They'll still go ahead to vote for the president and they'll only wait for the MP.
Yes, yeah. So only the MP election is the one that is deferred to another date.
Yeah. Sorry, it looks like we have a sound coming through. I'm not sure where the background noise is coming from. There's some speaker. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much, gentlemen. I think, from all the information you have shared is like ECZ is trying to manipulate our constitution to favor some candidates. But in that manipulation, there are some things they're overlooking, So they tweak one part, but then tweaking that part that they tweak, they are like problems which are coming because they change something without doing a complete research on the implications of changing one thing. So ECZ has to be very careful, because whatever they are changing will backfire. They are doing this haphazardly, they are changing things haphazardly, and they are not doing a wholesome, research of the Constitution and looking at the implications of some of these things they are changing. So that's my conclusion. And as a result, that's why we are saying they are going to plunge this.
Before you conclude, Phumi, there's one thing which is worrying me, and I need Mushya to help me. The Electoral Act says any party which has violence should be suspended. The law also says tribalism and campaigning on tribal lines, Mushya, is illegal. But it looks like, to me, Matomola, ECZ is quiet about these things. Somebody was hacked yesterday. Is it yesterday or today in Kawata? ECZ is quiet.
Yesterday.
This gentleman, who I call Phumi, has been campaigning on tribal lines, and nobody, ECZ is not even saying anything. I don't understand it. Probably Matomola would guide us on that, or our lawyer can tell us. I would have thought by now, ECZ would have called that is Phumi and told him to say what you are doing is illegal.
Yes, so Baba General, I was just concluding on the ECZ matter. Now we are moving to the right subject, which is violence. So we are not going to rush. This is a rare opportunity, so I'll not cut you off like that.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
For me, I want to talk about tribalism. So whoever wants to talk about violence, please go ahead, because I have some thoughts on tribalism, and particularly on addressing the Chimbakambwe.
Yes. So as you prepare to get in on tribalism, I just want to say that my earlier statement to speak that ECZ is not helping the electoral process of our country is supported by their lack of resolve to suspend individuals in the electoral process who are misleading the nation and bringing this country in chaos. Like Chimbakambwe, there is empirical evidence ECZ is doing nothing. The man is being moved from one point to the other. Okay. On the issue of violence is a very critical issue that has affected our elections. They suspended the elections due to violence in Lusaka. But we have seen images of PF cadres captured right on camera, pulling down UPND, flags. PF cadres have been captured, climbing poles, pulling down UPND flags. They have been captured. They have, in fact, themselves, in their naivety, they produce videos of burning UPND Chitenge materials and the regard. For me, I think that in any country, the cause and the source of violence is always that. Even in Rwanda, it started in the same manner, where you see your friends who belong to the other side of the political divide to be less human. And that is what the PF are showing. When we begin to retaliate as UPND, then the president will say, I've got special powers. Don't force me. Don't push me. I've got special powers. Don't dare me. So I don't know why things are happening like this in our country.
He hasn't got special powers. He's failing to use those special powers. I'm sorry. That's why I always say he's a commander-in-chief who can't command, because he can say one word to the cadres, I don't want violence. One word, I don't want pangas. One word, I want these cadres surrender all their guns. He can say one word, I don't want to see any cadre in uniform. He has failed to use those powers. I think, Mushya, you know my stand on that. We have got a commander-in-chief who has failed to command. And the commander-in-chief, I know somebody gets very annoyed when you say who's dizzy. He fainted. Commander-in-chief doesn't...
General, can you get dizzy? Number tulande fimbi, umuntu ari dizzy. We shouldn't say it is dizzy.
And in my 15 and a half years of service, if you fail on parade, you will be court-martialed. So Commander-in-Chief failed. So he's
Oh, that's an extreme measure. How can you court-martial the Commander-in-Chief? It just all he needed was to take a few mujajatis and he was going to be okay. Two mujajati before, what is over problem?
He should have sat down if he wanted to, instead of embarrassing the whole country, Commander-in-Chief falling down. That's not good. So I think the issue of violence is a serious issue, but the violence can only be stopped by the police playing their professional role, which they failed, and the Commander-in-Chief himself using his presidential prerogative and powers and saying no violence. Mwanawasa said it, and there was no violence. So I think we have to make sure and appeal to the police that they should take their role, play their role, that we should go for elections on the 12th with no violence. What we saw in Kabwata yesterday was terrible. That should not happen in our country.
Thank you, General. I just want to comment on this violence where our Commander-in-Chief, even our Inspector General, they have failed to condemn the violence. So this is my opinion. I'm saying, if you are a cadre yourself, how can you condemn your fellow cadres? That's my question.
Right.
So I think this is what we are looking at. We are looking at people who are, representing these cadres. They are their friends, they are their colleagues, so they can't come out and condemn them. So that is just my point on that. And then the other thing which is connected to what Mushya want to talk about is Zambia is a Christian country, and we saw Kings Malembe come online and talk about Sia1. Sia1 is a huge political influence in the Zambian political scene right now. But there's a controversy because people are saying that he is not a Christian. Why are we listening to him? And then the CK was attacked by Sia1, and then Malembe came to defend Sia1 in the kind of attack. Malembe attacked Malembe attacked Sia1 and defend CK. So there's this whole thing going on where we have a government, according to the revelation, they are going to seek these superpowers, and they come on the platform and say, we're a Christian nation. And then they come to us and say, why are you following Sia1, who is a Satanist? So there's confusion. And I think we as Zambians need to address this. Like these, our government are putting us in a whirlwind of confusion, So it's like, what can we, as Zambians, how are we going to survive this? We are a Christian nation. The guy whom they call to consult for powers comes to the country and tells us. And then we try to wrap our heads around what's happening. We are being told we are hypocrites. We are listening to a Satanist, And then this guy, Kings Malembe, was like, how can you allow a foreigner to insult you Zambians? Okay, Kings, you are not Zambian yourself. I think this topic is not about who's Zambian or not. Let's not dilute the seriousness of this election that we have. HH is insulted day and night. There is one video where Pumale to Kanabangina HH. Did we hear any people come and say Munishmule to kill HH? So this is the kind of situation we are in. I don't know, guys.
For me, I think I declared that I'm not going to waste time on a guy called Kings, because I told him to go to night school for 2 years. He had to go to night school for 2 years. Night school for 2 years, whether in the Copper Belt or in Congo, anywhere where there's a good school, let him go there. 2 years, then we can come and talk. I personally, I don't follow Sia1, and I find it difficult for anybody to say Zambia is a Christian country. I find it very, very difficult. And if somebody doesn't want a foreigner to insult us, then let's stop insulting each other. How many times has HH been insulted? How many times has CK called the Tongas all sorts of names? How many times has Luo called the Tongas all sorts of names? How many times have all these PF cadres called? So if you want people to respect you, to respect us as Zambians, let's respect ourselves. So I don't care what one says, but it's a serious contradiction, Mushya. Are we a Christian country really? If we can start going to consult, what were those rings all about? And to be very honest, I hear there were serious things which happened at Parliament before the PF, this government was elected in 2015. What happened? We want to know, some of us. What happened at State House? We want to know.
Yeah.
So these are contradictions. So for Kings Malembe, I have no time for you. Let him go to school. We can come and discuss later on. Because I hear he mentioned my name. He called me General. Oh, fine, thank you. But I have no time for him, because if he doesn't want this tier one fellow, whoever he is, to insult Zambians, he should go and tell CK and all the PF people to stop insulting the Tongas. Simple.
Comrade Mushya, come in now, because we are eagerly waiting, patiently waiting to hear your submissions on the tribal hegemony.
On tribalism.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we are still getting the feedback from your mic.
Matomola feedback. Can you? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You know what? I had a very well elaborate plan about how I'm going to respond to Dr. Chimbaka Mbwidi. And so, but that plan is already gone. I just have a few words. But the best way to deal with Dr. Chimbaka Mbwidi is to use his own words. So first of all, he is saying that the UPND is a Tonga party. Okay, I personally went and looked at the NMC, the National Management Committee of the UPND. I looked at the names. I checked all of them. Now, I know that names are deceiving many times. What I found out was that actually the majority of the names on the NMC list are actually Bemba. They are Northerners, meaning Muchinga, Luapula, and Northern provinces. The names, the way they were sounding. This gives me an idea that when Dr. Chimbaka Mbwidi says that the UPND is actually a Tonga party, is a lie, first of all. And then he said that the Tongas are organizing political meetings. What the Mukula is wrong with organizing political meetings. It is as if he's saying that Tongas should not be having political meetings. But Tongas are citizens of our country, just as everybody else. And if you are holding a political meeting at a house that happens to be owned by a Tonga, so what? That is part of the political process. We find it unacceptable, the continued insults, the continued tribalism from Mr. Chimbaka Mbwidi, who at one time was a member of our party, the NDC. This is completely disappointing. The Bemba speaking people, mufuire okwamba okulanda po n'okukana ifyo bachimbaka Mbwidi barelanda po fya bupuba elo bufi. We can't tolerate it. The other thing is this idea of us versus them. Now, in Zambia, let us just be very honest. Zambians cannot tell each other apart. We can't. That's why we usually depend on ukwipisho muntu atuli wakwi ngakwebero waishiba. Otherwise, tetuishiwe, except maybe for very very smooth skinned people from Northwestern Province. Otherwise, you can't tell. You can't tell. We don't tell each other apart. Kuipusha umuntu uli mutundunshi nango waumfweshina ero waipusha. How many people have in fact asked me what tribe am I It's because it's not obvious. You can't tell by looking. Height.
Presidential height.
Obvious to you. General.
We can tell you from your height that you are presidential height. We know where you come from.
Number, what about now? What about Muvita now?
Oh,
we
yeah.
claim him as ours. You see, that's why there is no way of fulfilling.
He also came from there. He's just lying. He came from there.
So even Matomola has a presidential height.
So we can't tell each other apart. This idea of us versus them is not right. Here is another thing. This idea that we have the Tonga and then we have... it really does not work, because right now in Luapula province, among the chiefs of the Kabende and the chiefs of the Ushi people, we have got chiefs whose father were Tonga. So Kambwiri cannot come and tell me that I cannot be led by a Tonga when our own chiefs already are Tongas. So I find it completely disingenuous and completely hypocritical, because we matrilineal systems, we follow, of course, lineage through the mother. And so a Tonga fathered child can be a chief, can be Ushi, can be Kabende, can be Lunda, or can be anything. And so what Chimbakambwiri is saying and teaching is not true, it's not correct, it's tribalistic, and we must renounce it and denounce it now. Chimbakambwiri knows that very well. Okay? This is not new. Chimbakambwiri, he knows that what he's saying is nonsense. The reason why he keeps talking about it, it's because he wants to carry favor with the Patriotic Front. We know that there is nothing wrong with Tonga's organizing, or Lunda's organizing, or Ushi's organizing politically. There is nothing wrong with the UPND having Bembas or Tongas in their political party. There is nothing wrong with a Tonga, Hakainde Hichilema, standing for the presidency of our country. Chimbakambwiri knows that. The reason why he is saying what he's saying is because he thinks it's going to help him be acquitted on the horrible crimes that he has committed against the state. For example, he's a forger. He has forged things. Teine mwimbepe shati ni nebo. Mea mendisi. Lelo baji Chimbakambwiri eba ide forger. Elo teine na bekete iyo. Nibaka pokola. So nomba. Umlandu wako watu baji Chimbakambwiri badi beka tobungo na bu forgery. No kwa utu waku ikata. No kuponta insele bali bekete baba posa na muchifungo na bashamfumu ba pingulo ko Chimbakambwiri niwe kabwalala, you were forgery, you are a fraud. Teine now because Chimbakambwiri balefwa yoko batukuteko bubelele ko ba PF babelele echo nomba balete lo yumulomo kuba bemba balefu okubomfya imo mweba bemba okweba nombe milandu shabo PF stationi iberere echirere ngefi fyonse. Now, are we going to allow okuba umuntu, a fraud, a thief, is going to use the sacred tribes for his own selfish ends? We say no. He's there in Luansha, for goodness sake, and he's telling Abena Luansha. Is he assuming ukobata Abena Luansha bonse babemba? He's telling them ukobata Abatonga shani. Abena Luansha, imagine, in an urban area in Luansha, that's where Chimbakambwiri goes and spews all that tribalism. In Kalulushi, that's where he goes to spew all that tribalism. This is unacceptable. And you need to stand up and say this is nonsense and you're not going to tolerate it. So if that wapite mumbadi yo we took a lot of time before we got to this position, because twale munatawe bantu nomba baji Chimbakambwiri te bantu yo ngabarenda timbwiri tapadi ifyo badi bantu te chumuntu mo atuletere chimfulunganya muri yo musango na ishibabuno bwino ko batifarera ndafyabo puba baji Nombeti balelandi nicho balefo ayoko bati lungu nabakapokola uko bati balabeko nomba tafyaka bombe iyo uyu mulomo oyu twaukana na ifo bonse fwe bale monati bantu twa esha kwati yo mkwa ifyala bomba bantu twasanga uko bati awe kanshi nangu bamoneka filia bachimba kambwiri mulufumo mwaisulo obufi mwaisulo mulomo elo mwaisula nolupatila lwa mitundu shimbi icho twakana ifu abatonga enfumu chesu tulifye bwino we chief chimeze niba chief chimeze naba chief kala ifu tulifye bwino abatonga enfumu chesu fwebo kanshimwe bakambwiri mutwale uyo mungulu katwishuko mule utwala ngani kumporoko ko mwafuma muituletere cyo chimfulunganya kwesu kubwawushi muituletere cyo chimfulunganya kubabemba na kumitundu shonse ishale kanalekana. You must stop using tribe. Please talk about something else. And there is a lot that you can talk about. Mining, if you're tribe, please stop it. I can even command you in the name of Jesus, stop this nonsense.
Amen.
Mushya, I just wanted to just add on what you have said. We are still mourning Dr. Kaunda. And Dr. Kaunda, on the 5th of February 1968, resigned for a day because of tribal remarks. One thing which I should tell you, especially the young people, Kaunda went to a national council in in Chilenje. Somebody called Mwanza, Simon Kapwepwe came and said something which annoyed Kaunda. He said, this country's time for Nevachalo to take over. And I think this agenda is still being, that's the agenda which I'm sorry, I'll go back to what I said last week. That's the agenda which Kambwiri is being used by PF to deliver the message of Alexander Chikwanda and deliver the message of Chitimkulu. Let's be very frank with you guys. Bembas, whatever you want to call yourselves, don't own Zambia. We all own Zambia equally. Tawondes, Lundas, Uchazis, Tongas, Tumbukas, Nsenga, Chewas, we are all equal shareholders. And I'm just going to appeal again to the chief, Chitimkulu, because he said it's on record that you own this country, our country, your people must control it. We are saying, your Royal Highness, you are trying to give us danger. Those words are now being repeated by CK. We know the chief architects. It's the chief. If ABC Chikwanda stop this scholar nonsense, scholar foundation nonsense.
Let's stick to Kambu.
No. We know where we know
they're
where
in one basket.
We know where it's coming from.
Off each other.
We know where it's coming from. You know, when we want to get rid of a problem, sort out the root cause. If you don't sort out the root cause, you are not solving the problem. Let's be frank to each other now.
Yes.
But chief, the Bembas don't own Zambia. We are saying this before we bury Kaunda. Let's love each other. Let's have peace. Let's have unity. This nonsense of saying you own Zambia and Tonga cannot rule is nonsense. And I think somebody has to tell you. And I think I can tell you. I can tell you because I have fought for Zimbabwe, for Mozambique, for Angola to get their peace. I was in Uganda in 1994. I saw bodies floating in Lake Victoria. I don't want to see that happening in our country. So that nonsense by our chief from the north, not all the chiefs, I'm saying to Chitimkulu, let's stop it. I'm saying to Alexander Chikwanda, who's my elder brother, stop it. And I'm saying to Dr. Lungu, who's using CK, stop it. I'm saying Kulba Luo, who's my elder sister, Professor Luo, stop it. because this is now going too far. And I'm saying this because Dr. Kaunda is still lying straight there. And he resigned on the 5th of February 1968 because of the same nonsense. So let's stop it. And if Kambwili is going to continue doing what he's doing, let's bury Dr. Kaunda on the 7th, and I think we will handle him. We'll handle him politically, we'll handle him legally, we'll handle him correctly. Because that must stop. This must stop.
Yes.
And I've no apology to make. That is the chief. If it's ABC Chikwanda, it's Dr. Lungu, not Dr. Lungu, he's not a doctor, it's Mr. Lungu using CK. That is the message which PF is using. PF has no manifesto anymore. The only manifesto now is HH and the Tongas. That's it. It has to stop.
Yes. And General, me, I'm a Tonga woman. Actually, I'm more Tonga because I grew up in my grandmother's village in Kankata area. I get emotional because a lot has happened. A lot has happened. So I just want to say that moving forward, we should make tribalism a hate speech under the laws of Zambia and punishable by law.
No, Queen Phumi. Tribalism is actually hate speech in Zambia.
So why is no action being taken? Why are people not being arrested for speaking tribalism? Why is Chishimba Kambwili still there and not being arrested?
Yeah, tribalism is an offense in Zambia. And in fact, spreading tribalism, even under the new... So the new cyber law that they enacted, that's one of the new cases, so to speak, enhanced by the cyber law.
That being said, I think we need to let our people know, let's have peaceful protests and have Chishimba Kambwili arrested. What is the police doing? Police are supposed to step up and arrest Chishimba Kambwili. He's a danger to our society. Me, I'm a Tonga. I have seen things, I have seen people arrested, being stabbed because they are Tonga. How do I feel? You know, we can only take this demonization of Tonga for so long.
Yeah.
In fact, they are lucky that the Tongas are very, very humble.
They are passive, you know, patient.
You can push people to a certain corner.
Yes.
You reach a point where people are going to react. We have heard Kambwili saying, if you go to southern province, this is what they do to you. Rubbish. They are Mbewes, they are Mulengas, they are everybody, all these different tribes in the southern province. Nobody touches them. There are people in Namwala who have lived there for a long time.
I know.
Nobody has touched them. So
it's nonsense.
No. General, Chishimba Kambwili knows what he's saying is nonsense. He knows it.
Matomola,
he knows that what he's saying is nonsense, but he's saying it because he wants.
Is the Chishimba Kambwili above the law? Is Chishimba Kambwili right now? Chishimba Kambwili must be arrested before he plunges this country into chaos. Me, I'm a Tonga, and I will not hesitate to be on the street there and start protesting. We have to stand up to this nonsense. Because of HH now, you demonize all of us Tongas, and the Bembas, they are not even 51% of the population. There is no tribe which is 51% in Zambia.
No, even if they were 51%, they have no rights. No right. No tribe in Zambia has a right to say they own Zambia. We all own this country together equally.
Yes.
Equally. Yeah. So there's no way that you can say you are more important than the Tonga, the Tumbukas, the Chewas, the Sengas. No.
It's nonsense.
No.
He must be arrested. We Zambians have to stand up.
We have been hearing this nonsense coming from our chief for a long time. I think if somebody can't tell them in Lusaka, I will tell them. I will tell them to say, I, Norman Chipaku, this boy from Mumbwa, and I'm saying today on the 29th of June, before we bury our president, this nonsense must stop.
Right.
This nonsense must stop because it's dangerous.
And they'll be arrested.
They'll be arrested because we know what happened in Rwanda. This is very dangerous. So if a PF you have nothing to say about your manifesto, read about your manifesto. Don't use tribalism as your manifesto, because that's the only manifesto they have is Tonga HH, Tonga HH. It's every day. Edith Nawakwe, the same story. Edith Nawakwe says now she will go to South Africa if HH becomes president. I'm saying to Edith, can you pack your bags now and start going?
Ouch.
Because it's going to
happen. General, I've always told you when HH becomes president, ati munda wakudara mulanda shani va Phumi muchitundu ati munda wakudara ati bwanje ibala lyakare chivu sechiweme eva kavana kuntanshi imwe va Phumi mukavapa second vana waku eva katitenge bwino kuya mukumono munabo.
She will see me, she will see red.
Because
my sister Phumi, it's okay.
No.
I'm telling you, President no, let's forgive. Uyumu nandi wako university.
Nati hell no. No way.
Ati mwe ba Phumi. Who are you mwe ba Phumi? Ine kale na beshibe bana wako.
Okay.
Musha,
we are going to come to Stephen to now.
Can I give
in one of the broadcasts, my suggestion was muleposa tenshita kanchi kumutwalira nawawe kuyamutulira HH kumwako obasenda ba HH nokubachita kidnap nokubatwalira kuli bana wako then bana wako imumo every day talking about HH uyu to anso kachero you know atituamiretero yo HH
tugatwalira
bantu mulombo wachira takwa abana mayo mulombo wakula fike pamuntu yonse yo awo mwandi ncharichira nitubatwalire
to even go to a church, you go to church and start saying, you know, na mwishiba in church. How can we think so low? That's why Mushya, I find it very, very difficult. You can convince me to be a Chitawala tomorrow, probably I can be. I'm now beginning to doubt whether I can be a Pente. Because, you know, what we are hearing from the Pentes is dangerous.
No. That's why in a I challenge, particularly Tonga Pentecostal leaders. Why would you let Chimbaka dispute this nonsense and you say it's okay? Because bamona konaka bose bapente babemba nomba imwenga yakutira mwayiminina nokubebo kwebati muleke uyu mulomo wife ngathatira filimu mwabeberako they are going to understand about our country. This is the thing. That's why we wanted to bring the vice president of the UPND, because the vice president of the UPND is a Pente and is Bemba. So the UPND party is a very safe party, not if you that you is a tribalist party. Okay. If there are issues with that guy, the guy abalala efe balanda ati bale tumubite po yuwi tukaibwene fwenka kanchi tumubike po haka inde hichilema tukaibwene fwenka evena serenja
Council Mushya, am I audible now?
Ka sound kabako better.
Yeah, go ahead, but there is a feedback.
The echo is there. Yeah.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, but the echo is there. Just go ahead.
Okay, what I want to say is that, you know, I love what the aspiring candidate for Mukushi gave. He gave a very good example. You say, Abaswaka, Bembas and the Tongas, there's a very huge similarity between Bembas and Tongas. Okay? Because he said that Bembas, they love farming. And Tongas, they also love farming. They love the Tongas also love to keep cat. These are one identity people that love and blend each other so well. It's only that they are being divided by people who are looking at political demographics. Because what Dr. Chimbambwiri, Mr. Chimbambwiri is doing, they are looking at political demographics, where they are saying, how do we win this year's election? Okay, let's divide the nation according to tribe. Because we know that the members, they are going to align themselves with Chewas. And members, they are going to have a huge percentage. And they are looking at statistics. And for them, they think that if they continue hammering on that, statistics will make them win this year's election cleared. Because what Chimbambwiri is doing is not because he hates the Tongas. He is doing it politically. This is a man that went to the southern province.
Okay. No, I think it's bad. Mr.
Your microphone is bad. Can you just mute it, Matomola? Because it's
maybe come, go out and come back. Log off. Yeah. Log off and come back.
Now, Queen Phumi, I just sent you a message. If you look somewhere where it says comments, messages, I've sent you a private message. Can you see it?
You can no. Can you send to my WhatsApp?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think I will continue from where Matomola was trying to head to. The Eastern Province, where Kambwiri thinks they are going to side with them. I've lived in the Eastern Province. The people of Eastern Province are smarter than that. They are seeing through this tribalism. And even the Northern Province, the people in Northern Province are smarter than Kambwiri. They're not going to listen to this nonsense. Except that we've got a few hotheads who might cause problems and will cause problems and will end up with a disaster in our hands because of a few people like Kambwiri. Right. The people of Northern Province are sensible people.
Right.
There are just a few individuals who are trying to take advantage of this situation for their own political reasons. Eastern Province, I call myself an Easterner because I lived half of my life in Eastern Province. The Tumbukas are not stupid people. The Chewas are not stupid people. The Sengas are not stupid people. The people of Eastern Province are not stupid that they can follow Kambwiri. No, they are not. So what we are saying is that this game they're trying to play is a desperate. It's a sign of desperation by PM.
Yes.
And it's dangerous because it can easily put a country on fire.
Yes. So thank you, listeners, viewers, followers. We actually overshot our time by 30 minutes. We'll continue this. It's been wonderful. So in a minute, by General, you can wind up, and then by Elias, you can shut us down. We'll be back. We'll try to arrange some time and continue this discussion. It's been very powerful. Thank you so much.
Well, what I'm saying is that we're still mourning, guys. We're still mourning Dr. Kaunda. Let's mourn him. Let's maintain our love for each other as a country. Let's maintain our peace for our country. Let's maintain the unity. Let's also think of COVID. Seriously, guys. We as Zambians in the diaspora will do our best to get anything to help save our lives. As I was saying this evening, by tomorrow, there will be 2,000 oxygen cylinders arriving in Lusaka to try and save lives. It's from Zambians within Zambia, but the Zambians abroad as well will be getting PPEs, will be getting COVID testers and everything else. So let's keep our love for each other as a country. Let's keep our peace and let's keep our unity until we bury the old man on the 7th of July and keep his legacy going. That's what I can say. Good night from Scotland.
All right. Thank you very much. Good night, and God bless you, and God bless our country. Let's remember to mask up, avoid unnecessary meetings. Thank you so much, Mr. Likwanya. Thank you, Queen Phumi. Thank you, General. We'll see you another day. God bless you, and God bless our country.
Thank you.